Hello adventurers and welcome to another installment in my Legend of Kelamentura series. This installment is the recap for Session 7, during which the party finally arrived at Steelburrow and started to learn a bit more about what's been going on there. Now, this time around, for the last couple of sessions, we've been missing our paladin, Bjorn. He's just work and life has been a bitch and has not allowed him to play with us, which was sad. And then he was able to play with us. Yay! But Lorilla couldn't. So, yay, we got one player back. Oh, we lost another one. Shit. That's just how it goes, unfortunately. So, hopefully, we get everybody around the table again for the next few sessions. I really want everyone to sit down and actually get a chance to play together. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but these things happen. Things are sent to tries. So, session started off with the party arriving at Steelburrow. They had travelled with Throom for a number of days from Brewstock, and they'd caught a glimpse of Mentura at the end. I think I talked about this in the last video, but if I haven't, or I probably have, but sort of caught a glimpse of like just shimmering like rainbow, like just scattering of light off of like rooftops and glass and bronze, and it's this beautiful like light show in the distance. What it is, the sun just glinting off the rooftops of Mentura. Get away, need you. Shush. So I saw that, and then came to this crossroads, turned right, and sort of followed the mountains, which I called the Spine, down for a bit. It took another few hours of travel, and then they got closer and closer to sort of the foothills of these mountains. Now, in the center, the foothills are more sheer, but the further you go, left or right, east or west, the foothills start to become more gentle and kind of splayed. I described them as looking like fingers sort of splayed, like this giant hand has been splayed out. And the path kind of winds around and goes in between each of these fingers. Kind of follows it for a bit. So travel, go around one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. And they rounded one of the fingers. And they saw a few hundred feet away from them this massive stone wall, maybe 40, 50 feet high, stretching between the whole way between two of these fingers. You know, dozens of guards on patrol, sort of our ballista and our various other artillery pieces mounted. And this is a very defensible position, kind of in a mountain range, very heavily defended. This was their first impressions of Steelburrow. Moved forward, got to the gates, Throom said the party should dismount. You know, it's better you get off the wagon and they can all see you all. So yeah, they were able to do that. Got in, says, oh yeah, we're here from the Adventurers Guild. Oh, actually, you're finally here. Brought into the office to sign in, because it's the first time we needed to sign in for security reasons. When they did so, the party, they all felt like some sort of spell had been cast on them. This kind of drew the ire of Bjorn. What the fuck are you doing casting spells on me? You didn't take this very well. He was the only person of the party who really took offense at it, but the captain of the guard, I can't remember call the guy, Brunar, I think he called the captain of the guard, I can't remember. So that's what happens when you make names up on the fly. His name is Brunar. The washing machine going mental. Oops. Don't know if I might back that up or not, but we shall see. The captain of the guard explained that it's only a security measure. It's that when you sign your name in the book, the guards, all the guards in Steelburrow learn your name and get a description of you for security reasons. Mechanically, the players, well, it's to do with the armor that the guards are wearing. There's an enchantment on the armor that's kind of linked to the book. So when your name is in the book and you are located anywhere within Steelburrow, which includes the sort of the courtyard that you go into, or anywhere in the town or the mines, if you're anywhere within Steelburrow, no matter how far down you are, the guards know your name and your location. So if you try to pull any shit, they know who you are and they know what you look like. Now, obviously, magic can obscure your face or whatever, but it's a security thing. So after that, the party were then told, "Oh, okay, well, you've now signed in. Go report to the guild office." Went in, spoke to the member from the guild who was there, one of the clerks, by the name of Christopher, who, when they reported in, he was like, "Oh, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you all so much for getting here. Oh, when you're early, that's even better." And told them that things are a bit dire. That there have been this beast that they've been here to take care of. That's definitely been the biggest. That's kind of the worst thing that's happened. But since then, there have been a bit of a spike in Duragar attacks. Other mines that they have, because the where the party are going is not the only mine in Steelburrow. There's various other mine shafts that kind of spread out onto the mountains. Several of those have been attacked by Duragar. Bit of a spike. It's nothing that the guards themselves who work in Steelburrow can't handle. But you get this big attack followed by lots of other small attacks. It kind of makes the workers go. It puts the fear of the gods into them, and unsettles them a bit. So, and also a lot of the miners have been injured and laid up, haven't been able to work. And then a lot of the rest of them who haven't been injured don't want to work because they're like, no, if I go down there, I'm going to get attacked by something. So the party have got a bit of a task on their hands here. Okay, we're not asking you to go and hunt down the Duragar. We're asking you to kill this one big thing. If you take care of that, you kill it, the guards can take care of the rest, because once this big, bad, evil thing is killed, then, the miners might be more willing to work. This big, scary thing is now dead. And they go, yay! And we'll get back to work. So they did that. And then they were told, okay, the next point of contact you have is there was a number of survivors in the infirmary. Is the foreman Bairn. He'll be somewhere in the city, not entirely sure where. And you've also got Lord Orsic Steelburrow, who is the owner of the mine. So party travelled over to the courtyard itself. You kind of go, well, this is a courtyard. This is all there is to Steelburrow. Very innocuous looking. Went over to the bunch of gates, a couple of more guards, saying, "Oh yeah, we're here to seek an audience with Lord Steelburrow." They keep flashing this contract as kind of yeah, we're here for the guild. Yeah, it's like an all access pass at this point. Oh yeah, and you go. So they get brought onto this mine, this lift, and the guards operate. It kind of mine shafts are slow. The lift they're on sort of descends through the earth. And there's 50, 60 feet of just rock. Where the hell are we going? And then it opens up into this massive underground cavern that is part natural, part hewn. It's maybe about a mile in all directions. Steelburrow itself, there's a massive natural cavern. There's about a mile in any direction. Now, Steelburrow itself doesn't occupy all of the space, but it's in there. Party descends down. The lift goes down about 500 feet or so. And now you are at I was going to say ground level there, but you're at base level with Steelburrow. It's like, this is the base level of Steelburrow. And they ask the guards, right, we need to head to the infirmary. We need to looking for Bairn. And we're looking for Steelburrow. Where do we find him? The guard says, right, see that big fuck off house on the far side of the town? Aye, that's where Steelburrow is. The infirmary is this way. And Bairn, he'll probably be in the Moldy Toe, and that's over this way. They got directions to each of them. So, most of the party, minus Titus, headed off to the Moldy Toe. The party all headed off and went to the Moldy Toe, went in, bought a round of drinks for themselves, asked the barman for some information about, what the hell's going on here. There's all some very bad business. It's a lot of people have been very badly hurt. And hang on, just copy the thing. Yeah. And then we told, yeah, we're told to speak to Bairn. And the Baron goes, oh yeah, he's at that table over there. when they meet the foreman. Hang on. Sorry, I'm getting pinged. Where are you? Oh, response. Yeah. Where was I? Yes, so spoke to Baron. He was able to give him a bit more detail on what they'd fought. And he says now, he just described that they'd been going down on a working on an expansion, following the mine shaft, and had a breakthrough into an underground cave, an underground cavern. Oh, happy days, natural cavern. This makes our life a bit easier because I think in his own words, mining's an awful lot easier when the gods have already done a lot of the work for you. So come into this natural thing, went, oh, happy days. This will make our life a bit easier. Broke through, started to do some other probes, various other points in this cavern to see what they could go off and find. And there was another natural tunnel on the far side. So there's some scouts went down there to see what they found. And then all hell broke loose. There's a few, and most of the scouting party were killed instantly. A few of them survived, and they were the ones sent to the infirmary. And Baron said it was just chaos. He didn't get a good look at the creature, but he described it as having claws, fur, and scales. Rather, was a big creature. And okay, that doesn't sound very good. So the party were able to get some information from that. Meanwhile, Titus went off by himself and went to the infirmary. Took a notion, went off, and wanted to speak to the miners who had been injured. He went off, and he went in and he says he wanted to go and speak to these people. He was brought in to the room where they were and rolled a medicine check to sort of, okay, I want to try and try and make them some tea. I want to do this, that. They want to go do a couple things, and he rolled really, really fucking well. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. He's like changing their bandages, looking after them. And I was like, oh, okay, you know what you're doing really well. And the miners then told Titus the same thing, really. Says, yeah, this thing was massive, large fangs, big claws. And Titus was able to, again, examine the wounds when he's changing the dressings. Kind of healed at this point, but said, no, these are definitely claw and teeth marks. They're quite nasty looking. And then one of the miners, they didn't really speak. They were like speaking to a victim of shell shock, is how I described it. The information is conveyed, sort of stop, start, kind of quiet, then speaking, and single words. But he was able to, one of them mentioned the word breath, which they took to mean some sort of breath weapon, which, again, they're like, oh, this doesn't sound good. But, yeah. So, they did that, and were able to... Yes. Met up again. Okay, I've got breath weapons. At this point, a number of the party had started to make like history checks, religion checks, nature checks, intelligence checks, trying to figure out what the hell this thing was. None of them rolled high enough to go, oh yeah, I know what this is. But they rolled high enough to know that, no, I think I read about something like this. It's kind of like when you're trying to recall something, but you don't quite recall what it is. It's like, oh, it's that thing from like that. And then they went off to see Steelburrow. He lived in this massive manor house at the far side of town. Able to go in, speak to him. And his house, it's a dwarf mansion, so it's a lot of stone. And the man clearly has a lot of money because all the furniture that was there was a lot of dark woods, a lot of very lush carpets, and a real sort of ostentatious and slightly vulgar display of wealth. This house is designed to sort of scream, I am one rich son of a bitch. And we're brought up to his study and had a bit of a discussion with him. He's kind of standoffish. And when the party met him, his hair and beard, as opposed to when most dwarves, stereotypically in D&D, will have a very large, unkempt beard. Lord Steelburrow is very well groomed. His hair, what he has, kind of starts kind of in the middle of the head and kind of goes back, and it's quite slicked back and very well kept. And his beard is very close, very well trimmed. And then his forehead, there's a metallic plate kind of covers the front of his forehead. Not sure what kind of metal it is, but it's this very nice piece of metal. Looks like being engraved and sort of like silver and gold on it. It's like the guy who's walking around with God knows how many hundreds of gold pieces worth on his forehead. And another descriptor was that his eyes are black. He has the whites, but you can't. His eyes are black. You're not sure where the pupils start and the iris begins. You just get slightly unsettling. But he was able to speak with the party when they came to him with this description and says, "Oh yeah, we've spoken to a couple of people. They've given us these descriptors. Do you know what the hell this thing is?" And he was like, okay, let me take a look. One of the things that the party was able to tell from their books was that if it is what we think it is, it's very old. Like, I don't know what you call the thing, but I know the last time they were talked about, they're very old, which was able to direct Orsic to a book. It was like the Chronicles of the Purge, which is the war between the Scourge and the Pure Ones. Over 500 years before the story is set. The Purge itself went on for a long time, a few hundred years. So at some point within that conflict, these creatures were a thing. Steelburrow was able to go off, find a book, and go, what you're describing appears to be this. Slid the book across, which talks about the teeth, the scales, the fur, claws, fangs, that kind of a thing. It was a creature that's described as a Draco bear, and the book talks about them in quite flowery. When you talk like in medieval books, they're quite flowery in their descriptions. So they don't have any like technical knowledge to go off from the book. It's we now have a name. We now know what this thing is supposed to be, if it even is this. And if it is what it is, these things are fucking ancient. These things are really old. So they know it's a Draco bear, but they don't know what kind of Draco bear. And they're able to learn that these creatures were an aberration created during the Purge by some Scourge scientists, intelligent minds, by a fusion of, funnily enough, draconic and bear bloodlines and ancestry fused together, creating these creatures that were just ferocious and evil and big, nasty sons of bitches. So that was what they were created. That's how they were created, and this is potentially what the parties now has to go and fight. So they learned that, and then the party went off and started to do some prep work for the coming conflict. Again, went off, found rooms in a tavern, settled in for the night, and had a discussion. And then, because I think the weight of what was the creature they were fighting kind of sunk in, because they started talking about revivified diamonds. Now, the party had previously got a big loot drop and a lot of coin. A lot of it. I think it was 10,000 gold pieces they'd found. He says, because I was like, they all started off quite relatively D&D poor, very few magic items. I thought, I'll throw some money at you. Here you go. So they've been able to go off and buy. Everybody has their own personal revivified diamond. Everybody who wants one. So I think it's 6 members of the party have one. 6 members of the party have one. Yeah, including our cleric Soraya, and I think Soraya also has another 1 or 2. So they've like 7 or 8 diamonds. So they dropped a quarter of their wealth almost on diamonds. Like, boom, there you go. We all have our own. If we go down, need to be revived. Ta-da! Here's the thing. Here's a way to bring us back. And then Soraya decided to try to use Legend Lore. Use that spell. She went off, got the components, which is more gold spent, and tried to learn more about the beast. Now that she knows the name. And they didn't learn anything new because, in my interpretation, the spell was a person, a place, or an object. A Draco Bear doesn't, in my interpretation, doesn't fall into the categories. So cast a spell, made a wisdom check, spell casting ability check, and told her a bit more about it, including the whole how these things were created. And they're talking about dragons. So the party now know, oh, this is a dragon or dragon adjacent creature we're fighting. That's fun. And they were able to go and take a long rest. And the next morning, where we're going to pick up with in session 8, they were able to go collect a map. They were told that they were able to collect a map and got a number of guards that would escort them and possibly help them in the fight. So, and also when they were doing all the shopping trips and what have you, Titus, who was a veteran of the war between the Salazar dynasty and the Council of Ventura, went off into the town and found the cenotaph, because Steelburrow, like lots of a couple of the major cities or major locations, will have some sort of cenotaph or war memorial. And Titus went off, found the cenotaph, and sort of lit a candle, said a few prayers, and played a bit of sung some old war songs, because he had a friend of his was from Steelburrow. Unfortunately, fell during the war, so he was able to do that. I think Bjorn at one point had followed him to see what the hell he was doing, witnessed this, and was like, "Oh, okay, he's a decent spot after all." So as things stand, the party are poised on the precipice of heading into the mines, traveling down to this expansion, this new mine shaft, and finding the creature and killing it, hopefully. So that'll be next session, and I really, really, really hope I get everybody around the table for that one, because I think because it's one thing Jaegering a player in combat, you can kind of read the spell list and read their abilities, but the player themselves will have a better idea of how their character would do things. Like, they can put their own flair, their own spin on spells, and that type of thing. So I really hope I get everybody around the table for that one. But we shall see, and I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. I've been sitting on this one for a while. There's more to come after this. I've got more ideas, and I've got notes for how the party can go on from this, but I'm looking forward to this. I really hope things go well for the party. But I'll keep you guys posted. Hopefully that keeps you guys coming back to see how the next thing goes. And hopefully I can record the next session. If I can record the next session, I will, and I'll post that up. Otherwise, you're going to have to make do with another recap. But we shall see. So, thank you all for tuning in again, adventurers. And until next time, see ya.